Well, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I am the Custard Prophet, and today we're doing a review of the Gas Station Simulator DLC, Tidal Wave. This was a DLC that was released in April, so fairly recently, and is available for currently £10. 63 on Steam. It's 20% off at the minute. It is a fairly expensive DLC, and what I wanted to do really here was to give you an honest review of what I thought of it, what the positives are and what the negatives are, because I think there's a bit of both that we need to think about. Gas Station Simulator, if you're not familiar with the game, you will need the base game, and the base game, essentially you get a gas station in California on Route 66 in California called the Dust Bowl, and you buy it and you've got to upgrade it and increase the amount of services that it provides, and then you sort of go on from there. So it was a surprise hit, a really very popular game with a lot of people, not with everyone, and if you're interested in that game, I've reviewed it and I have a full playthrough on that game, as well as the 3 other DLCs that have been released. I'll put links to all those down below. But this is the Tidal Wave DLC, and the difference here, as you can see, is that our gas station sits on a tropical island underneath this volcano, and the volcano is the embodiment of the god Chunchimunchu, which I say differently every time. And essentially the little graphic you've got on top left is how angry Chunchimunchu is, and when it hits 100 he will erupt and fire down rocks all over your gas station. Now this is something very different that we don't have in the original game. However, what you can see is we have other aspects which do feel very similar, and so we can take the gas station from something that looks like this and upgrade it into this. So this is the fully upgraded, fully improved gas station, and I'm going to talk through pretty much what you can see around us and what's different, what's new, and what is the same. I think first of all, the big thing here is that the environment is different. It's a different map compared to the original game, and that is the big draw of this particular DLC. It gives you, and I think this is certainly the best aspect of it, or best part of it, because this map is gorgeous. It is really pretty. That is certainly a big old thing here, and it's when you start, as you saw, you have very little, but you are then going to be upgrading a bunch of things. So we have the gas station, and then we can upgrade that over 9 levels. We put pumps out front, which we didn't have originally. All this is pretty much the same as the base game. We have our workshop. All the upgrades are exactly the same in the workshop as in the base game, so you get these two bays as the final upgrade, which is kind of nice. Obviously it looks a little bit different. The car wash, again, exactly the same principle. This is all the same. The difference here is, instead of the alligator that we had underneath the gas station, we have the this pond, and you have to pick the rubbish out of this pond to ensure your water flow doesn't clog. But currently the final upgrade is this automatic car wash, and that's what's going on there. We have toilets next door. Obviously these look a little bit different, and these have been fully upgraded. But one of the differences that you have now are showers. So you have showers that you can also upgrade. Obviously these feel a little bit a little bit lacking in privacy, but there is that. We also have the warehouse. Now the warehouse, rather than being accessible via the land, is accessible via the sea, and then you get boats that come in here, drop off all the bits and pieces that you need, including fuel, and then you can then you can stock up. This is absolutely beautifully manufactured. I think it looks really nice in here. I think they've done this really well. We also got our employee village over here, so they're not in caravans as in the original game. They're in their little huts here, and these have been fully upgraded. We've got 8 employees that you can include, but there are a couple of other new things. First one of these is over here. This is the surfing or windsurfing slot, and so here people can hire windsurf. Surfboards, windsurf. What's a windsurfing board? Is that a thing? They can hire them here, and as you upgrade, you can increase the amount they hire. Okay, so there's a thing here where you can set a threshold of how long your windsurfing equipment is kept out there, and if it's when it reaches that threshold of use, so it's got 50% left of use, then it's replaced automatically. It's a weird old thing, that, and I don't think it works very well. I don't really understand it, and it doesn't really matter if your customers die. So yeah, it's all fine. On the other side, we have a very similar thing, this time with scuba equipment, and again, same sort of thing is sort of set up there, but people can head off and rent scuba equipment from there. So that's really nice there. And there's one last thing that goes on here, and this is out here, so we can refuel boats and jet skis that come up here. So as well as cars, you're refueling boats and jet skis. So there's a fair amount of stuff going on here. There's more services than you have in the original game, which is kind of cool. Inside the shop is absolutely massive when fully upgraded, as you can see. One of the big disappointments here is that the products that you can sell in the shop are exactly the same as the ones in the base game. There's no sort of specific products for this island, and I think that's a massive mistake. But there are some cool things you can put in here. None of these little placeables are different either. I'd have thought they'd have had a whole set of placeables for this DLC. I haven't seen that, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. I think one of the other things that's quite good here is that a couple of the DLCs that exist do link in with this as well. So the Can Touch This DLC allows you to renovate the floors, move the bins, move the cash register, and change the walls of the gas station. That is all. If you've bought that DLC already, it will link in with this. The only thing you can't do with that is change the roof. The roof has to stay the same, whereas in the base game it can change. And also, you can't redo the toilets in this game. They have to stay undone. So yeah, I think there's some good things and bad things in there, but I'm very pleased that they've linked that in. We've also got Party Time DLC. This is a free DLC, which is linked, and you can see this over here. You get the ice cream stand and the party spot there, so that's all good. It does seem a little glitchy, that one. I don't think it links in beautifully, and I think they might have stopped working on it, because there does seem to be a few glitches with that particular DLC. There are also a whole bunch of new landmarks, and this is one of the highlights. I really like these landmarks because they make it a little bit different. So we've got things like the crab here. That's the most expensive one. We've got the village over there. You can walk around that village. You've got a huge hut over there, as well as some stone statues and a waterfall, which you can't really that up there. Which you can add into the game. So a whole load of completely new landmarks, and one of our old favourite landmarks, which is the car spire thing, which is taken from the original game, which you can see over there. And you also got these guys here. So there's a whole load of ways to make your gas station look pretty cool. You can add placeables in and around some of these areas as well once you're fully upgraded. So there is a lot of ways to make this game customized, but there is, again, you're limited by what they give you. It's not fully customizable. It's very much within some limits. The one thing that I haven't spoken about, which is one of the most fun parts of this new game, is the one new area that they've put in. And this is a replacement for Dennis. If you remember who Dennis was, that was the kid who came onto your gas station and graffitied your gas station. Well, Dennis has been replaced by a shark, and to get rid of the shark, you have the shark cannon. So the shark will come, and you've got to shoot the shark 3 times with the cannon and to get rid of it. But you can also jump around with the cannon, which is just ultimately cool, and fire at the NPCs and blast them into the ground. So I do like this this cannon an awful lot. There we go. So the Shark Wrecker cannon is absolutely one of the things that I think is best about this new game. So there's, I mean, it is a beautiful space. It looks really, really pretty. They put a lot of effort into that. Question is, what do I think about this? Is this worth the money? The changes they've made to the game. So let's have a think about the stuff that I like about the game, stuff that I don't like so much about the game. So I think, yes, the new map is very, very pretty. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's much more pretty than the original base game. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. The Volcano God, I like the concept. I think it's relatively reasonably well done. One thing I didn't mention was that the Volcano God needs to be pacified. So over time he will get more angry, and you can pacify him by upgrading buildings, but also by firing coconuts into this cauldron up the top there, which I failed to do there. I was going to do it first time. There we go. And as you do that, his rage diminishes. You can also provide gifts to him as well, and the expense of the gift will help you dispel his rage as well. So I like that whole concept. I like Chuncha Munchu. I think that's pretty nice. A nice addition to the game. Shark and Shark Cannon, I like. I mean, the shark could be better done. If you go in the water, you can't see it. You can just see the fin on top. Yeah, things like that. It would be nice to see. The new landmarks are gorgeous. Really enjoy getting the money together for those. You can see some of those down there. All of that is sort of new landmarks. The ship graveyard there as well. This hut, these things. You know, it's so cool. We've also got the party pier. So if you like the party bus, this is where the party bus arrives. It's just on a party pier, rather than the party bus. So that's pretty cool. And I do like that how they've linked this to the Can Touch This DLC and the Party Time DLC. Unfortunately, the other one, the airstrip, is not linkable in this. I did think maybe they could have done it in some way to maybe, you know, get smugglers coming in and bringing other products which that you could sell in the shop. So that might have been a good thing to do. Maybe that's something they'll do in the future. Who the heck knows? So that's what I like about it. It's gorgeous. It's fun to play. It still has all of those same positives that the original game has. Downsides, I think a lot. Looking on Steam, it's had mixed reactions, and I think the biggest problem that people are having is you're paying £10 for a game which is essentially the same game but just dressed up differently. And I think a lot of people are finding that a little bit on the challenging side. I agree with that to some degree, but I have to say I've enjoyed the differences enough to get over that. So I think depending on your perspective on the original game, perhaps if you really, really enjoyed the original game, I think you'll get a lot out of this too. I think one of the big issues to upgrade between levels to sort of improve things, it's got much more grindy than the original game. The original game, you needed to make a certain amount of money and then you'd upgrade. Here, you've got to get a certain amount of jobs completed, and the jobs get exponentially harder to get there. So it was a lot of money previously but it's cheaper now, but you've got to get these jobs. So you end up having so much money in the bank because you've completed all of these jobs. And it's in the end, it's something like you need to fuel like 200 cars, serve 200 people at your in your shop, all this sort of stuff. You needed to repair, I think it was 50 cars or 75 cars. It took forever. So whilst they say it's 10 hours game time, the reason for that is because most of it you're grinding, and actually once you've got all your employees, you're not doing that much. Initially in the game, because you're doing most of the work, but then you've seen my employees are taking over doing everything. The only things I have to do is fill up the shelves, order things in, and make sure we've got everything we need. They're doing all the work. Now things are upgraded, so you're just kind of doing a few things and running around and killing sharks and that sort of stuff. So it does take away from it and makes it a little too grindy, I've found. And people who watch the series that I've done on this have kind of thought similarly. It's got very, very grindy. I think that some of the new features that they brought in, the scuba equipment, the surfing, I don't think they particularly work great. I think the mini games aren't really mini games in the way that some of the other things are. So whilst they are there, they're either exactly the same mechanics, so filling the fuel for the boats and jet skis, or they're a new mechanic but it just doesn't work very well. So yeah, I don't feel the new things that they brought in have considerably added to the game, at least in terms of the services. And one of the biggest gripes, and I mentioned this earlier on, is just the lack of location specific products. We're on a tropical island, for God's sake. Why have we not got local produce in here? Produce from rum or whatever else from this tropical island. Why is that the case? Why are we selling exactly the same products that we would do in California? It doesn't make any sense to me. So that, I feel, is a really big own goal. But yeah, on balance, I think for someone who really, really enjoyed the first game, I've still really enjoyed this, and I played it through, and this gas station here is fully upgraded. You can't do anything more here. It's completely maxed out in every way. So, and I wouldn't have done that unless I'd have enjoyed it. So yeah, I have fully enjoyed this experience. Yes, there are some gripes, and certainly I can understand the mixed reviews this gets on Steam. Is it worth the £10? Well, you do get a lot of gameplay, but a lot of that is grindy. So, somewhat. I think maybe 3/4 of that price may be more appropriate. But what can I say? Oh, you're still dancing in here, are you? Look at that. Look at those moves. They've still got the same humour, it's still the same quirky game, and I think that really helps. But the environment is absolutely flipping gorgeous. I adore the environment, and that for me is one of the big reasons that I've enjoyed playing this. I mean, look at this. How cool is this? Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant in terms of that. So yeah, I think I'm somewhere in the middle, and I can understand that mixed review. I'm slightly more on the side of I enjoyed it than I didn't. So if I was going to give this a score out of 10, I think I've thought long and hard about this, and I think 7 out of 10 feels about right for me. I think for some people it's going to be a lot less. So I think if you're someone who didn't enjoy the first game, you won't enjoy this. If you're someone who didn't care too much about the first game, you thought it was all right, but you're hoping that this game you'll get a little bit more out of it because it's a bit different, you won't. It's not. But if you're someone who absolutely loved the first game, I think this game is different enough for you to get and have an enjoyable experience. You might not grind all the way through, but I think you'll get something out of this game. Whether it's worth the £10, well, you know, I'll leave that up to you. Please leave your thoughts down below. Did you enjoy it? Do you think it's worthwhile? Is your opinion similar to this kind of idea that it's just kind of the gas station simulator in new clothes? Let me know in the comments. Really value your thoughts and opinions. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and come back for the next one. If you are interested in any gas station simulator content, we've got reviews on all of the previous DLCs on the original base game. We've got a full playthrough of the original game with all the DLCs and a full playthrough of Tidal Wave. So all of that just surely sounds good, doesn't it? And yeah, let me know what you'd like to see around gas station simulator content. There will be, as soon as new DLCs are released, we'll be having a look at those things as well. But drop your comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again. Bye bye.